So again, for a long time, Cure was known for his Terran versus Protoss matchup. For a very long time, he had the best Terran versus Protoss in the entire world. But that has since been taken by a different Terran. That is since now, I would say, under Clem's mantle. I would say that Clem has the best TvP in the world right now. Cure falling just under him, but he still has a terrifying matchup here that he can flex, that he can flaunt. It is not going to be easy for our Danish Protoss, and here he is in the bottom right-hand corner of Side Delta. We have our Danish Protoss player representing Sidestorm Gaming, the best Protoss in all of Europe. It is MaxPax. And spawning in that top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran, the red Terran player representing Team Liquid. It is Cure. Here we go. As again, MaxPax, likewise, his own PvT has been improving. Shout out to Clem. For Clem and MaxPax, both of their respective Terran versus Protoss matchups have been improving a lot over the past 6 months, maybe over the past year, just because MaxPax and Clem play so often against each other in the ESL Open Cups, ESL Open Cup Americas, and ESL Open Cup Europe. What I will say, though, is I hope Clem is okay. I mean, it feels like maybe Clem is on a break. Maybe he's taking some time off. I mean, more than well deserved. We are in a bit of an off season now that IM Katowice has wrapped up. We have a little bit of downtime before DreamHack Texas. What's it? DreamHack, is it Dallas or Houston? What? I think it's Dallas, question mark. But before the next DreamHack Spring, essentially. Before that event, we do have some time here for our players to rest, and Clem has been absent. Clem wasn't here for ESL Americas last week, and he's not here for ESL Americas this week either. Again, Clem is usually here. I guess he's on a regular sleep schedule because Clem has been competing in the EU Open Cups. He's just been missing the Americas Open Cups, which he's usually at. So maybe Clem isn't a DGen anymore. Clem would regularly stay up until like 5 or 6 a.m. in the morning competing in StarCraft events, but maybe post IM Katowice his sleep schedule has been fixed, and yeah, he hasn't been staying up. He has not been staying up here these past 2 weeks, so that's probably a good thing. That's that probably isn't a bad thing. So Clem has been resting up. MaxPax though on that grind, as we are going for a Twilight Council opener. So we did have an economic opener from Cure, Rax Expand into Delayed Factory into Delayed Second Gas, but it's all now on the way here for Cure. So just an economic opener. Meanwhile, MaxPax going for a standard opener himself, a Gate Expand into the Cyber Core into now his Twilight Council. Should be for Glaives. Sorry, Glaives? What am I saying? Should be for Blink. My brain was thinking of Stats last game and his Glaive Adepts. My apologies. But should be Blink. Glaives hasn't really been a thing in this matchup in many years. In a long time. For those that remember, there used to be a Glaive All-In that would be prevalent in this matchup. Was featured back in GSL. That was like around the beginning of Legacy of the Void. As we are not going for Blink, by the way. We're going for a DT opener. Bold move here by MaxPax. Going for Dark Shrine. Going for the Dark Templar. The Invisible Man. I mean, it's pretty good. But we speak about this often. It is risky to go for a DT opener in this matchup. To be fair, Raven openers aren't as common as they once were. But Ravens are still viable here in openers in TvP. So that's kind of a risk that you take. Likewise, scans might be available as well for those Dark Templars. So high risk, high reward here for MaxPax. He's, as we do see Cure moving out with Marines, Hellion, a random Widowmine as well. He's going to be reinforcing with the Medevac. We're pushing very early on. A very unorthodox timing here from Cure. Is catching MaxPax out. What does MaxPax have? He has one unit. He has one Stalker to defend. A Shield Battery, now a second Stalker as well. Oh, the Widowmine shot has to be avoided, as we could cut the army of MaxPax in half with one mine shot. Remember, there is no blink. Cure, he backs off. He's dropping into the main. Thankfully, we have the shield battery. Mine shot going to be spent here on a probe. And Cure makes his way into the main base. Big moment here for Cure as he will scout. He will confirm the Dark Shrine. Forces a recall. Shows a wide shot. Up! Oh, big connection on the Stalker. 4 probes go down. Oh my god. An insane amount of damage done already. And back at home, there's that Raven that we spoke about. Again, not uncommon to open up Raven here in this matchup. Which is why DT openers are so brutal. Or it's why I should say they're so difficult to actually make work. That's what I meant by brutal. As DTs, they wander into the main. They do get 6 SCV. Oh my god, they're getting even more damage on. Late reaction out of Cure. 11 SCVs go down. This should not be happening. Again, he was distracted by DT here at the natural. And despite the scan, despite the Raven, Cure was still pulled apart. He kills 13 probes across the map, but he loses 14 SCVs. Again, a bit of a blunder defense there by Cure. He had the tools to defend, but the execution was lacking. And just like that, MaxPax is not in the worst position. He should have been in a worse position is what I will say, but MaxPax is on 38 workers. He's working on Blink. He's got a decent gateway count. He's got Archons to harass across the map. Not bad. Not bad here whatsoever for MaxPax. Here he does come across the Prism. Comes across the Archons as well. His force back. So do you see MaxPax wandering on in. Going for that Viking once again. He's going to get it. Yeah, one more shot. The Viking goes down. Again, very proactive out of MaxPax. Very nice pick off. Behind this, we do have our Bay on the way. Our third base as well. We are working towards the mid game, towards Colossus production. MaxPax just enjoying his map control with this Warp Prism. And Cure is stuck at home. Hellion does at least confirm the third, so he's now aware of the macro outlook that MaxPax has. Is whether MaxPax is working towards the mid game. Meanwhile, Cure is stuck waiting for Stim and Combat Shields. We'll get 2 probes here across the map with that one Hellion. Not bad. Arco jump coming back in. Getting a couple of Marines. A couple of units going to be going down. Once again, oh, the Liberator going to overextend. Cure bleeding out a lot of units. Bleed out his Viking, his Lib, a bunch of Marines. Drop moves out, but MaxPax he sees. Does get eyes on the drop. Will force the unload. Cure having a rough time here this game. As we blink on forward, we can focus on the medevac, and we do not get it. Barely does escape. Barely does get away. As we do see MaxPax just chilling back at home, getting his third base saturated. Extended thermal lens on the way, charge, forge for +1. Again, all of our upgrades are on the way here. Now Cure's building up towards a push. So he can't afford to lose the tank. Whew. Oh my god, MaxPax, he wanted it. The tank does barely survive. And Cure, he's not all in. He is taking a third base. He's expanding, but again, we are pushing first, expanding behind it. But can we accomplish much with this? He has a tank that's barely alive. He does have his upgrades for his bio army. He does not have interference matrix. The Raven! Oh my god. Cure, calm down. The Raven also taking a lot of hits as well. Now, he does have the posture, but I don't think we can commit. It's going to be close. Yeah, auto turrets are thrown down. Raven gets focused. We do take down a lot of those gateway units. But with the shield battery, with the overcharge, the Colossus should be perfectly fine. Yeah, as Curie does stim up the ramp, but there's a Colossus waiting for him. Yeah, there's no breaking this position. Big swipes going off here on the army. And Curie can't lose too much. The tank goes down. And now MaxPax is on the hunt. He's going to try and chase this down. Reinforcements are coming in. Curie, he can take a fight. Oh, but the Zealots. The charge, they'll say, do complicate things. Marauder goes down. Curie's gonna have to retreat from here. He does back off. MaxPax's third base was left completely untouched. Fourth base is getting up and running. You can see MaxPax is ready to main-art over and saturate that fourth. Ready to get it up and running. Meanwhile, Cure now expanding and taking his third. Still trying to break his opponents. Could go for a job, but we have an Observer. The Observer's in position. MaxPax late to respond, despite the Observer. MaxPax misreading it. You saw that he was getting ready for a drop. He was getting in position for a drop into the main, but there was none. War Prism going across the map. We do deny the fourth. A big pick off there by Cure. Oh, Widowmine doesn't quite connect, as Zealots are warped into the main base, but we're gonna shut this down. And Cure suddenly in a much better position. I was really concerned that MaxPax was gonna be able to get this fourth base unhindered and then focus on maxing from there. But now he's contained, and you can see that reflected in the supplies. Now Cure is getting ahead. His third base is getting up and running. He cleaned up the War Prism, cleaning up the Zealots. Still no fourth base from MaxPax. And Cure is going to be the first to max out. Let's go. Now, what I will say, even though MaxPax is falling behind in the overall supplies, disruptors are on the way. That is a good way to catch back up into this. Likewise, you have to be very careful with our drop play, as MaxPax was in position to deny them. DD Harass coming in. Ooh, SCVs going down both at the third base and at the natural. We get 10 SCVs. Good damage dealt here by MaxPax. You can see him evening things up. Fourth base now on the way. And Cure, he has to rotate over to deny it. Oh, big mine shots. Good mine connection here on the army, but a tank goes down. Cure, he can take this fight, but he has to be careful. He has to respect that disruptor. Yeah, he will retreat. Doesn't want to test his luck. Never gets off. Ooh. Yeah, it takes down a good chunk of Marauders. Cure has to pull back home. MaxPax going to chase him back. Zealot comes in. And again, MaxPax is doing everything he can to keep the army busy. He catches some medevacs. Miscontrol there from Cure. He loses, what, 3 medevacs go down. Almost a 4th. Bleeding out a lot of units. Zealot's getting ready to come in from behind as well. And as the armies are dancing, that means that Cure doesn't have the time to punish the 4th. He doesn't have the time here to keep up and to hunt down that 4th base. As MaxPax is keeping the attention of Cure here on the front lines. So it's being set up. More disruptors on the way. Blink for the DTs. Bold move here from MaxPax, but you love to see it. Shadow Stride in production. And Cure is going to be taking his 4th. Again, showing us that MaxPax is able to achieve his goal here of keeping Cure busy. So MaxPax, he gets away with the 4th base. Cannons and shield batteries are finishing up. And now MaxPax has a better economy than Cure. Well, has a comparable economy than Cure. Maybe a better way of putting it. Cure no longer has that economic advantage. Army is moving forward. Prism getting ready to harass the natural. Cure is pushing in. Show us the Novas. Up. First Nova kills the Zealots. Bit of friendly fire. Prism goes down in the natural. Good moves there from Cure. Cleans up the War Prism. SCVs, they drag the Zealots away towards the minefield. Big mines going off. At the same time, we pounce on the army. Disruptors get caught out. Big EMPs here on the Disruptors and the Colossus. That may just be it. Cure snowballing out of control. Distracting MaxPax. So MaxPax getting distracted himself by his own run-by, by his own counterattack. And MaxPax loses everything in one fell swoop, in one big attack. That's all it takes sometimes. As we camp the production, we focus down the Robo. Boys trying to evacuate, but it's a Meek Rider. Every probe goes down, Nova goes off. Won't connect. GG gets called, and Cure takes game number 1. GG. A very intense moment there. Honestly, I could have seen the game going on much longer, but it came down to our attention of our players here. Attention is a resource, of course, in StarCraft, and MaxPax was distracted. It looked like he was distracted by his own harassment as he was rushing his zealots into the third, was dropping the prism into the natural towards the main. And in that moment, Cure, he struck. He pounced on the army. He was able to close the distance and collapse on top of the disruptors and on top of the Colossus. And in an instant, he killed everything. He killed every single unit there. I think one Nova went off, only one, and that was not enough. GG, well played. Cure takes a lead in the series. It's going to be on MaxPax to bounce back in game number 2. Here we go. And we'll be here to see if he can pull it off. Can we bounce back? Can we force the ace match? Game 2 going to be on Oceanborn. Let's go. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our blue Protoss player from the land of Denmark, representing Storm Gaming down in this series. Can he fight back? He needs to, here and now, to force the ace match. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Cure. Onomas, one more is all he needs to take the series, to take the 2-0 and advance on to the semi-finals. We'll see if he can pull it off. As for now, we're settling on into our game. If you remember, last game, Cure did go for an economic opener. He went for a Rax Expand, followed by an unorthodox attack, which almost caught MaxPax off guard. And it's looking to be the same. Looking to be another Rax Expand opener here by Cure. Meanwhile, MaxPax last game did go for a Dark Templar opener, and it was worth it. Remember, he killed, what was it, 14, 15 SCVs? He did an insane amount of damage with his DTs. Unfortunately, he also sustained a lot of damage from the drop of Cure. That's why there was a lot of chaos ensuing there in the early game, and I do believe that Cure, he came out on top afterwards. Was able to come out on top. Well, specifically, he came out on top because he was able to contain MaxPax and delay the fourth for so long. Cure was able to take an economic lead as he was able to deny the fourth for as long as he did. Eventually, MaxPax was recovering when he regained his fourth, but as we mentioned, it all came down to the fight in game 2. All did come down to the fight. I don't expect MaxPax to go for a DT opener again. It's one of those things you whip out once in a series, you don't rely on it. So if it's a Twilight Council, I imagine it's going to be Blink. Otherwise, we could even see a Stargate opener. But I'm not seeing Dark Templar. But we'll see. We shall see, as we did have the Rax Expand economic opener out of Cure, followed by the Factory. Factory is on the way. And we could end up going for another Mind Drop or a Mind Drop variation. Mind Drops are quite commonplace in this matchup. The reasoning for that is because Widow Mines, they can deal damage, a devastating amount of damage, but they also provide you some scouting information as well. They allow you to get a read on what exactly is happening and the opener of the Protoss. As it is a Twilight Council once again. Twilight Council from MaxPax. Again, this time it should be Blink, but we'll keep an eye on him. There's a crazy world out there where it's going to be Dark Shrine again. Or even Chargelots. But Blink would be the standard. MaxPax, he does shade across the map. Gets into the mineral line. He doesn't get much damage done yet. Oh, as he will get an SCV. Does get one worker. Whereas Hellions, they come in to reinforce. We do pick off one of the Adepts. Very nicely done there by Cure. Trading one SCV for one Adept. A better trade for Cure, so that I would say. Better trade from the Terran. We can see that we have not quite got into Widow Mines. We've gone into Hellion, into Cyclone. We delay the Starport. A very aggressive build here by Cure. Let's go. Blink here from MaxPax. We're throwing down additional gateways. We had one gateway here at the natural, 2 more gates on the way. Sorry, 2 gates already done. It's going to be 4-gate Blink. 4 gate Blink Stalkers here from MaxPax. Very aggressive build here from our Protoss player, and this is going to work well for him because Cure is going for a bio-heavy composition. I am concerned for Cure. So, a couple of things going on. One, Cure is playing very aggressively because he's delaying his starport. There's no starport. We delay the starport in favor of 2 more Vaxes. We're going for an add-on swap. We're going for a Stim, Combat Shields, Concussive Shell timing. Like a very strong bio army. That is true. This can even lead into a 2-base all-in. The downside, no tanks. No tanks and very limited scouting. We have not seen anything. We have no idea what MaxPax is doing. We don't know the tech. We don't know how many gateways there are either. So, Cure is playing blind. He's in the dark. He doesn't know how aggressive MaxPax is about to be. Otherwise, we'd see bunkers. We need bunkers. We have 1 bunker at the natural, nothing in the main. The main base is so exposed. And we could even dive into the main and deny Blink. And if we deny Blink, sorry, I say Blink. We could deny Stim. If we deny Stim, that's game. Oh boy. Here we go. MaxPax is pushing out. And Cure just now getting a read on what's going on. A couple of units do get across now. We force a defensive warp in. But at the same time, MaxPax can dive into the main base again. Stim is still a ways away. Cyclone gets focused down. We do get in for the scout. We now realize what's been happening. We dive into the natural, not into the main, but SCVs are getting picked off. SCVs are going down. The Prism taking some damage as well. Not a bad start here from Cure. He does force back the army. Both players have lost 3 workers, and Stim should finish. It should now finish. We did not blink into the main. It should complete here for Cure. But these are rough trades here, as again, there's no way to sustain this army. There's no medevacs. There's no healing. There's no support. We now have high ground vision. Now MaxPax is going into the main base, but the upgrades have completed. Ooh. As we focus down a couple of SCVs, MaxPax diving into the main, and we're getting a lot of damage done here. 5 SCVs go, 6 SCVs go down. And what's important is we're picking off workers, we're picking off Marines. We can't push at the moment. We're waiting for medevacs, and until then, MaxPax has map control. He has control of the map. He can freely take a 3rd base. He can probe. He can focus on upgrades. Focus on the next form of tech. And he comes back to the main base, and he's just picking Cure apart. Ay ay ay. I got another 3 SCVs go down. We force out a Stim. The army here for Cure is so battered, so bruised, barely able to repair and keep that bunker alive. More Stalkers are on the way. And as Cure splits up his army, there's just so much late mining here at the natural. So many SCVs forced to just be pulled and repaired. Oof. Marauder's getting low. Concussive Shell just started. How we blink into the main. And we're getting even more SCVs. 2 more. Doesn't sound like a lot, but I mean, 2 SCVs for not a single Stalker. Good trade here for MaxPax. Getting another 2 Marines. Not losing any Stalkers. Just very efficient trades overall from MaxPax. Scan shuts down the Observer. But MaxPax, he is far ahead here in the economy. We have Charge on the way. +1. The Bay as well for Colossus production. Like, in a way, I don't want to say it was a build order. It was kind of a build order loss for Cure. I say kind of, like, a lot of it did come down to his lack of scouting. Even if you open up in such a fashion, you can still scout with your initial Reaper and Hellion. You can still get a read on what's happening, but Cure, he was just busy back at home. No idea how aggressive MaxPax was, and Cure was punished for it. He was punished for his lack of scouting information, lack of reaction. Or, again, if you're not scouting your opponents, we need to follow up with a safe opener, right? No bunker in the main, despite not being aware of what was happening. And with that, MaxPax is in control. Now, eventually, Cure is going to break free. Eventually, Cure will be like, okay, I've had enough. We're moving out. We're committing. And that may be now. That time may have come. As we focus down the Warp Prism, Zealots are getting picked off. The Stalkers, they catch a medevac. And you can see that these medevacs are running out of energy already. And the army isn't even topped up. And here we go. Curie's all in. At this point, he's pretty all in. The boys are being pulled. They run into the Zealots. No! But again, we're all in. The boys are being pulled. They run into Zealous. They're being shut down before the fight even occurs. Not like this. Really rough timing there for Cure. As he's being picked apart. 12 SCVs going down before the fight starts. Again, just really good timing with that Zealot run by. Catching reinforcements. Slowing them down. Colossus has right. We throw down the overcharge. We throw down the force fields. The boys are getting melted, Papi. And we're just running out of steam. GG gets called. The defense is just too strong, and MaxPax will tie up the series 1-1. We're forcing the ace match. GG. Let's go. We are forcing game number 3. Again, MaxPax just punishing the build of Cure so well there, and punishing the lack of scouting that Cure was relying upon. Again, he had no idea what was going on. As a result, he couldn't prepare. He was just picked apart. GG, well played. On top of that, also, it wasn't just the builds. I also have to praise MaxPax for his control. Again, his Blinkstalker micro to pick off SCVs, pick off Marines, pick off Marauders, catch Medevacs. Just really, really efficient trades there from MaxPax. Just pulling Cure apart. And with that, we find ourselves in game number 3. It all ends here. It all ends on Hecate. Let's go. Let us go. So now going to be getting into game number 3, the ace match here, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Hecate, we have our blue Protoss player representing Storm Gaming. We have our blue Protoss looking to claim this, actually tying up the series 1-1, forcing the ace match. It is MaxPax. Land of Denmark, and spawning in the top right hand corner we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player being forced into the ace match. We have the red Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Cure. Let's go. I got scouting while tooltips in your base. Yeah, exactly. Like, after the Adepts were dealt with, as we did point out, my apologies if I didn't make it clear, Cure, he wasn't able to get an eye on how many gateways there were. He didn't get eyes on the tech opener either, so he didn't know how aggressive or how economic his opponent was being. We did point out the vision that Cure had, or the lack of vision that Cure had, as we were entering that stage of the game. If you remember, he didn't move out until the attack was already upon him. He moved out with 1 Reaper, 1 Hellion, and 1 Cyclone. By the time he reached the natural base, MaxPax was already pushing into the natural. Like, he was already in Cure's face at that point. So Cure just did not have, or just wasn't able to scout in time to react in time to what MaxPax was up to. And here we go. MaxPax going for his own standard opener, going for a gate expand, or gate cyber expand. Likewise, Cure, 3 games in a row, has gone for an economic opener, going for a Rax expand himself. We spoke about this yesterday when we were casting Gumiho, but it's very commonplace, especially amongst the Korean Terrans, to go for, you know, single gas openers. Outside of more unorthodox players like Gumiho, more aggressive players, where they rely a lot more on double gas openers instead. I mean, ideally, you do want to mix it in, but Cure, he's not really one to do so too often. Of course, MaxPax does Probe Scout. He does confirm the CC on the low ground, so he's aware that there's no early game aggression coming his way. There shouldn't be, like, Reaper Hellion or a committed Mine Drop coming his way, or a double Cyclone Medevac drop. So MaxPax, he can already rule things out, and he can be the aggressor instead, moving out with his first Adept. And once again, going for a Twilight Council opener. We've seen a Twilight Council every game so far. Game 1 was DTs, Game 2 was 4-gate Blink, Game 3, what are we going for? I imagine it's going to be Blink once again, but how many gateways? Do we go 2-gate Blink into a third? Do we go 3-gate Blink, or even 4-gate Blink once again? It's all available, all on the table here for MaxPax. And hopefully this time, Cure can get a better read on how committed we are, and, you know, what MaxPax is up to. Behind this time we're going for a straight up 1-1-1. So a much safer opener here, much less aggressive from Cure. With this, we're going to be working towards a mine drop, so we will have scouting information. If you remember, last game, because of the 3-1-1 setup, as I'd say, shade into the main. And MaxPax, he does see the starport. He's aware to be ready for that drop play, as the depths are going to be cleaned up. And they do get a couple of SCVs, 3 SCVs go down. But again, winding it back, if you remember last game, because of the 3-1-1 setup, there was no medevac, there was no starport whatsoever. So Cure didn't have the opportunity to scout. But this is also why mine drops are so common and so popular. As we spoke about earlier, they allow you to get damage done and also scout your opponent with the drop itself. And we can see we are committing to additional gateways. Oh boy. So same build 2 games in a row. MaxPax, he is going for 4 gate blink here. Back at home, 2 gateways are done, 2 gateways are on the way. Same build as game number 2. And Cure will get a read on this. He is going to be zooming across the map. Blink still on the way, Robo still on the way. And Cure will realize he already has a tank in production behind this, so just a really safe follow-up. He did commit into 4 Widow Mines, so that means that the tank is a little bit delayed. Typically, we go into 2 Widow Mines, then straight into tank production. So the first tank and the second tank is going to be delayed as a result. Mine drop comes in. And we will deny some mining. Get a couple of worker kills at least. Show us the blink. Oh. Get nice control here at a MaxPax. Avoiding those shots, only losing 1 probe. Cleans this up. We'll shut it down. Cure, he's aware, of course, of the blink-based opener. Back at home, we have a bunker on the low ground. Tanks are coming out. We should have 2 tanks in time. No bunker in the main, though. Decent SimCity will work in favor of Cure. But here comes MaxPax. Again, Cure, the medevac stuck here in the corner of the map. Reinforcements on the way. Again, Cure gonna be getting eyes on the SCV, but here at the natural base, we don't pre-pull the SCVs. The bunker's gonna go down. Bunker does fall. Ay. Tanks are repositioning. Boys are being pulled. This is already becoming too much damage, as so many SCVs are gonna be going down here. Yeah, we dive on top of the army, we dive on top of the tank. Tank goes down. Cure, he does get 5 workers across the map. Does get some economic damage done, which is nice. But he's already lost control of the natural. The natural has been broken. The tank died. The bunker died. The tank is repositioning. And MaxPax, he's snowballing out of control. This is becoming far too much. We dive on top of the tank, and it will go down. That's going to be 17, 18 dead SCVs. We have been bleeding out a couple of Stalkers, but it's already been worth it. It's been worth it here for MaxPax. At the same time, we do have some auto harass across the map. We get a couple of probes, but only a couple of workers. Yeah, as this has snowballed out of control, it's becoming too much to handle. And with that, because we just perpetually just reset the tank counts, Cure just doesn't have any momentum. There's no momentum on his side, and MaxPax, that Stalker army, getting larger and larger, splitting up even, heading into the main, heading into the natural. We could even try and deny Stim. Stim is under fire. We're going for it. No. Stim is going to be targeted down. It is denied. And there's not another tank to cover the main base. Not anymore. Once again, boys being pulled. And this is game-ending damage. Behind this, MaxPax just chilling, taking a 3rd base. Getting his 3rd up and running. He can start taking towards a bay, towards Colossus production. Can blink towards the natural. Some decent tank volleys. Oh my god. From the low ground as well. Good tank shots there from Cure. Does clean up a lot of those Stalkers, but without Stim, these Marines, they don't really threaten the army. That's the reality here. The Marines, they're here to buffer, but they're not here to kill anything, as they can barely keep up. Once again, we killed one of the tanks, but now we have a 2nd tank coming out on the high ground. MaxPax, he can still skirt around the edge and go for the gas geysers. The gases are still exposed, and Stim has not been restarted, has not been rebuilt. Tech Lab's still on the way. Tank shot goes off. MaxPax now knows where the tank is. Ooh, we'll bleed out one of those Stalkers. only getting a couple of SCVs. And here comes our follow-up. Fully saturated on 3 bases, charges on the way, +1. There's that Bay that we spoke about for Colossus production. All on the way. MaxPax just securing himself. After the damage that was dealt, I was going to say that Cure may be forced into another all-in. He may be forced into another all-in. The problem is there's no Stim. Stim just now restarted. We're still bleeding out so many SCVs. We barely have any boys to pull, but it still feels like the only option here for Cure. Just like what he tried to go for in the last game. Observer goes down. It's going to be a little bit harder to scout a boy pool and the all-in. Stim is halfway done. Combat Shields just started. And here we go. We have to send it. We just got to do whatever we can here. We'll keep an eye on the SCVs. As Cure is moving out across the map. Oh, even leaving some supply back at home to defend that mineral line. And MaxPax doing a great job of just slowing down the army, picking away at those Marines. Picking off Marines. We do have reinforcements on the way. There are the boys. As we mentioned, like at this point we have to pull the boys like this. It's the only option here. The only chance that Cure has. As he's fully all in. There we go. Tanks are pushing forward. Liberator harassing. On the right-hand side, we're getting ready for a surround though. Overcharges, but we focus down the lib. We focus down the tanks. Zealous from behind. As charge does complete. And there's just an overwhelming army here. We surround the army. We just shut it all down. There's one tank left, one Liberator left, and it will fall as well. GG gets called, and MaxPax will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the semifinals. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to MaxPax as he will take down Cure 2-1. Did struggle in the first game. Did struggle a little bit as Cure was able to snowball out of control. But in game 2 and game 3, MaxPax did what he does best. 4 Gape-Link. 4 Gape-Link Stalker. Let's go, Poppy. Let's go. Again, unfortunately, Cure was a little bit greedy. Just a little bit too greedy in his opener. We pointed it out at the time, but Cure decided to go up to 4 Widow Mines. That means that does mean that your first and second tank, I mean your tank production in general, gets delayed in favor of an extra wave of Widow Mine production. So we committed a little bit harder to Widow Mines. We saw that it didn't do any damage, right? He killed 1 probe with 4 Widow Mines, and the Blink Stalkers just annihilated everything else. So again, committing into that big of an investment into those Widow Mines did not pay off. Likewise, there was no scouting Marine on the map. There was nothing, whether it was a Marine or an SCV, there was nothing on the map to get eyes on the move out of MaxPax, which is why even though we did have a bunker and a tank on the low ground, we didn't have the time we needed to react, to pull the boys, and to repair the bunker. The repair was very late from Cure. He did not have the heads up or, again, the time he needed to respond to that, and it just went down instantly. Bunker goes down, tank goes down, and the dominoes, they just started to fall one after the other. 4-Gate Blink Stalker is very momentum-based, and it can very quickly escalate out of control, as we saw there, in favor of MaxPax. Favor of Max, like your defense has to be clean, Pop. Has to be clean defense, and was not clean enough from Cure. GG, well played. With that, we have our semifinals ready. And a shout out to D Money in the chat. Oh, gracias, Papi, gracias. Thank you. Much love, Papi. But yeah, with that, we have our semifinals ready for us. Oh boy, we've been just building up towards this from the top. Okay, we do have 2 semifinals. Solar versus Hero. We casted Solar takedown stats earlier. We also casted Solar takedown Su. And in the semifinals, there's going to be a ZVP between Solar versus Hero. Likewise, we casted MaxPax takedown Cure. And MaxPax advances on to the semis to face off against Estrella in a rematch in a PvP. If you were here yesterday, you would have been here for that series. We casted MaxPax versus Estrella, and MaxPax was looking dominant. It was looking very strong against Estrella. It was a very dynamic PvP. It's always a lot of fun. Always a lot of fun casting MaxPax versus Estrella, but MaxPax was looking damn good in that series. So we'll see if Estrella can redeem himself. Likewise, we'll see if we get a rematch from last week's finals. For ESL Open Cup Americas 215, it was a finals between Hero and MaxPax. They were in the finals, and Hero looked scary. He 3-0'd MaxPax. Hero looked dominant in that tournament, and MaxPax had a really hard time in the finals. But we'll see if they face off again here this week, or if they can be stopped. Again, there's Solar and Estrella standing in the way of Hero and MaxPax. We're going to be going on a short break. When we return, we will have MaxPax versus Estrella in that PvP coming up next. See you then. Take this moment, hydrate all your hydras, stretch your riches, posture check in the chat. Make sure that you're not slouching, no slouching. Look away from the monitor, take care of yourself, get some water, all that good stuff. We'll be back in 5 minutes with the semis. See you soon.